The top 10 internet mistakes that cleaning companies make. There are several mistakes that you're likely making right now in your internet marketing plan that it's costing you thousands, perhaps even tens of thousands of dollars each and every month. You see, the internet right now is the biggest return that more cleaning companies are getting for their advertising than any other advertising media out there. So it's something that you should be paying huge attention to, and I'm going to show you why here in just a minute in this two-part. This is the first part of a two-part video that I'm going to give you just to help get you in the right direction in your internet marketing plan. First, understand that Google is the big gorilla in the room. Google is the thing that we should be paying attention to because more people are going to Google to look for a local business more than any other source in the world. So Google right now has a directory called Places that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes, where they're going around and they're videoing or still picture taking of every single location, they're trying to anyway, in the entire world. So they've got these vehicles that they're driving around taking pictures of my business and your home and everybody's home and your neighbor's homes, and they're getting pictures of these places to prove that they're really businesses or not. So there's things to really pay attention to about how to really set your directory listing with Google. I mean, they're driving around taking pictures of everything. They're even getting people hanging out in parks in their bikinis and in their bathing suits, having barbecues, for crying out loud. They've almost become, in a way, if you've ever watched The Terminator, Skynet, and they're watching us. But we need to be careful and make sure we're doing the right things. It's important to understand that the local search association, which is actually used to be associated with the Yellow Pages, did a very in-depth study in 2011. And in fact, this study was probably even more skewed toward the Yellow Pages. So this result could even be a little bit more skewed toward the Yellow Pages side. But nonetheless, it said that 67% of the people they surveyed searched for local businesses in the last month in search engines. That's huge. Okay, and Google is obviously the biggest, so most of those were at Google. Some of them could have been on Yahoo or some of the other ones, but 67% of the searches for local business in the last month have been with search engines online. Only 55% of those have been searches in print Yellow Pages. Okay, that's big. That means that even the local Yellow Pages Association is telling you that they're admitting that search engines have surpassed the print Yellow Pages, okay? And probably I've heard statistics that say even greater than that, such as maybe 80 or 90% of the searches for local businesses are being done online versus only maybe 40% being done, or 10% or 20% even being done in the print Yellow Pages. So something very important to note. So this is actually, I saw a bunch of Yellow Pages at a hotel I was staying at in Kansas City, and Yellow Page books all in the dumpster. They're getting thrown in the dumpster. They're not even being used, and it's something to really pay attention to? Yes, and the reason being is the internet's really taking over. So where do your prospects go to find you? Think about this for just a moment. When you have a new prospect that doesn't know who to call, where are they going to go to find you? They're going to go to possibly still the Yellow Pages. We've talked about them being potentially, maybe not completely dead, but definitely less searched. They're also going to maybe ask for a referral. They're also potentially going to look for someplace where they know to find a coupon. And they're also going to, big time, go to the internet. Now let's suppose for a minute that you're trying to target a higher end market. Okay, you can just about forget about coupons, because higher end people aren't as likely to go to coupons, although they do. So I'm not making any complete generalities, although I'm just talking about, well, maybe I'm making a somewhat generality, but they do indeed look for coupons. Now, they also aren't as inclined to go to the Yellow Pages. One, the more educated they are, they're going to want to go to the internet and actually do research. So really, if you're trying to target even the medium to higher end, you're going to be looking at really having most of your clients find you by referral and by internet. That's huge. Keep note of that. Okay, think about things like what's going on in these searches. Somebody's searching for carpet cleaning in Atlanta. We have about 9,900 searches per month. Big cities like Houston, we have about 14,800 searches per month. Smaller areas like Waco, Texas, a very small population. We still have about 330 searches per month. Another city, I think in Georgia, Sandy Springs, very small city that I've never even heard of. I just looked up 140 searches a month. And this is going on, pretty similar to what a lot of smaller cities are going to have. A couple hundred, few hundred searches per month, even smaller cities. Medium-sized cities might have a couple thousand searches a month, just depending on the size of your city. And sometimes the technologically nature of your city that can also sway people more for internet searches via versus print searches. But even looking at other things like water damage. Water damage is starting to become huge right now. Water Damage Atlanta has 2,400 searches per month. This is over 2,000 people looking for water damage solutions in the city of Atlanta. This is big. Even window cleaning, what are we looking at? About 1,000 searches per month. Whereas a few years ago, this kind of stuff was very, very low, and some of it even non-existent. Water damage searches have only been really popular only for the last couple of years. So if you're not doing big things on the internet, you're losing a big piece of the pie. So that's kind of the main thing that I wanted you guys to understand from the very beginning of this. And let's talk about the Google search here and really what happens with the Google search. You need to be listed up here in the top 3 to be able to make very much of an impact. A little bit about me. I know most of you know about me, but I do own a cleaning company still, and I do apply this type of stuff on the internet all the time. And of course, most of what I spend my time with is with Hitman advertising. I do write articles every month in ICS Magazine, mostly on the subjects of advertising, a lot of them on the subjects of internet marketing related topics. So let's go right into the mistakes. So mistake number 1, ignoring the internet because you get clients by referral only. This is something that I hear quite often. Well, I don't need to pay attention to the internet because all my clients are gotten by referral. Well, let me show you what's really wrong with that. Think about this for just a moment. Where do your current clients go to refer you? Let's say they love you and they want to refer you. Where do they go? Or where do they go when they want to call you again? Well, let's run down the list. This is potentially the list of what they're going to do, more likely than not. They're going to look to maybe the Yellow Pages because, they need to look up your number. They need to call you. They're going to potentially refer to a mailer that you send them, a postcard, a newsletter. That's why they're super important. They're going to potentially refer to the leave behinds, the bottles of spot remover, the magnets, the other just knickknacks, and maybe the things that you just leave them behind. They might refer to some of those. They're also going to refer to the internet. Now, let's suppose for a minute that their house is anything like I know my house is, and I've got 3 kids, and I know a lot of the times the mailers that I get sent usually end up in the garbage, even if I was somewhat interested in that, or I may lose it. My wife may put it somewhere and intend on giving it to me, and it never make it to me, or whatever, but they get lost. The leave behinds, well, the bottles of spot remover get empty. The magnets get thrown away because the refrigerator stainless steel. The things you leave them don't always stay there. So a lot of the times you can't count on those type of things. So in reality, when somebody really needs to find you, they're boiling down the Yellow Pages in the internet. You know what, guys? The Yellow Pages isn't even in many homes nowadays. A lot of the times the Yellow Page book gets to the home and it gets thrown away. Okay, or maybe they keep one copy. Like right now, I don't even know if I can find the Yellow Page book in my own home. So a lot of the times they're referring to the internet, and they're going to look you up in the internet. And let's see what happens. What happens? Can your clients actually find you online? And here's an example of a client of ours who called me and was very upset that. So when you typed in his company name, Jansen's Carpet, which is a very unique name, the very first thing that comes up is something that looked like his company, but it wasn't. It was actually a listing for Manta, which is a directory, which isn't necessarily too bad of a thing, but what happened was, it's been taken down since then, but he has given me this screenshot here, this kind of copy here that he'd gotten from Manta, and what's going on here is it's got his company name, his company address, but his phone number isn't here, and instead, right underneath it, there's a Google ad that's got a competitor in his area listed here with their website and their phone number. This is not good for Jansen's. This was the thing that came up at the time. I'm not sure if it still does, but it came up #1 in Google for he doesn't know how long when you typed in his company name. This is bad. And I see this kind of stuff all the time. And in fact, in a lot of directories, I'm seeing, these similar type of problems. So here we go. Here's another example of one of my clients who we're looking up some of their information in some of their directories, and we see their company name with somebody else's phone number and somebody else's address. The city's right, but could it potentially have been a competitor that actually filled out a fake profile for them? Maybe, we don't really know, but it's not good because somebody that might have already loved them and trusted them might have been calling the wrong number. And again, I see this kind of stuff all the time when the directories aren't really set well and they're not set up well. So your directories and your listings on Google and your presence on the internet need to be there, and they need to be there in a big way. So mistake number 2, not being listed in Google Places. And this is actually one of the bigger mistakes that I see quite often, but it's an easy thing to solve. Realize that the Google Places is usually something that's signified by this little icon. Nowadays, it's not always red. Sometimes it's gray, depending on the search and depending on how you're clicking and where you're hovering over. But it looks something like this. This is signifying the Google directory within the Google search engine. Okay, and all that means to you is you need to be listed on this. Okay, so it's nothing really that's that complicated. So let's understand the Google search. This is Google Places. Again, we've got the little balloon-like images with the letters throughout them. This is Google AdWords, which is pay-per-click. And this is Google Organic Ranking. We're going to talk a little bit about pay-per-click and organic ranking later, but right now let's talk about AdWords. AdWords is something that you can do and set up for free. It's something that really shouldn't even cost you money. I've heard of people, unfortunately, paying lots of money and even monthly fees to maintain a Google Places account. It doesn't really need that, okay? A lot of the times the Google results will show up with a mixture of both your Google Places listings and your organic listings. This is organic listing because it doesn't have a Google Places result by it. It doesn't have the Google Places tag by it. But a lot of times you'll see a mixture there. So it's important that you right now make sure that your Google Places is claimed. I'll show you how to do that, walk you how to do that right now. And this is a search. What you're going to want to do first is type in your keywords. If it's carpet cleaning, window cleaning, whatever, and your city name, potentially even your company name afterwards. And then if you need to, which ideally you click on Places, and then you're going to get a result that shows your Google Places. And then what you want to do is click on where it says Places page or where it says Reviews, your particular reviews, and go to your Places page. Sometimes, too, if that doesn't work, you sometimes need to click on this. If you don't have any reviews at all, you need to click on the actual red icon. Then you're going to go to something that looks like this. Now, if your page says Owner Verified, you're golden, and chances are you've actually gone in and hopefully claimed it. Hopefully your competitor didn't, but hopefully you went in and claimed it. If it says Business Owner ? That means it's not claimed. You need to click on Edit This Place right now and fix this today. Go in and claim it. It's going to take you to this page. You click on Create an Account Now, create your free account, go in and get your listing done. It's free. Mistake number 3, spending too much money on Google AdWords. I see this quite often, especially in some bigger cities. I'll tell you right now, if you're in the Phoenix area, you probably don't need to be spending money on Google AdWords. I've recently just decided that here in the last couple of weeks, just looking at some Google AdWords accounts. So, what are some of the things? I mean, let's talk about that you should be looking for and should be doing with Google AdWords. Well, understand again, Google AdWords is something that's going to be coming up in the Google search, and the good thing about Google AdWords is it's only going to really make you pay for an ad when somebody clicks on your ad whenever it searches for the prospect searches for the keywords that they're looking for. So if you set it up right, you're only going to be targeting people who are in your city, in this case New Orleans, that are looking for a carpet cleaning company. So this is good. And they're actually, if they're going to Google and they're Googling in carpet cleaning New Orleans, there's a good chance they're actually looking for a carpet cleaning company to hire. Very few sources of advertising can you actually do that, where you're actually only paying money when somebody actually goes to your particular website or your place of business or picks up your phone, when they're actually actively looking for your type of service. Now, it's up to your website to sell them once they get there, which is a whole nother ball game. But understand that that's kind of what's going on. You're paying for the click. That's why it's called pay-per-click. So, really think about, the amount of money that you're spending on Google AdWords. You may be spending too much money on AdWords if you're paying more than $9 per click. I mean, and that's really for searches for regular cleaning. For restoration, sometimes it can reasonably be a little bit more than that. For mold remediation, maybe as well too in some bigger cities. But in a nutshell, if you're paying more than $9 per click, you might be spending too much, and you should reevaluate the whole plan. As well, if you're not sure if it's getting you jobs, if you're sitting there spending money on Google AdWords and you're not sure, you're probably spending too much money. Okay? You need to check that. You need to track your advertising. And as well, if you're not getting at least a 3-to-1 return, you are tracking it, and you're not getting a 3-to-1 return. I have people that tell me all the time, I'm using AdWords and I'm getting a 2-to-1 return, so it's paying for itself. Well, it's not really. After all said and done, it's costing you money if you're not getting at least a 3-to-1 return. And what I mean by that is you're spending $100 on AdWords and you're not getting at least $300 in business in return. Now, the other thing too, I mean, that's kind of the negative, but I do know of people, even when I've done Google AdWords campaigns, and I do know of some of my clients who have gotten, 5-to-1, 6-to-1, 7-to-1 returns on Google AdWords. So Google AdWords can indeed be profitable, but it's got to be done right. So, the big thing is don't spend too much money on it. I mean, don't jump into it until you really know what you're doing, because you could easily waste several $100s a month on AdWords if you're not doing it right. So mistake number 4, responding to email and phone solicitors. And I talk about this periodically, but nonetheless, I still hear guys asking me about this. So we're gonna mention it again. If you ever get an email kind of like this, hey, I saw your site, I can rank you #1. I'm sure you get emails like this all the time. You probably get phone calls like this all the time. I know I do at my own office. Okay? The thing is, if they're emailing you from the get-go, they're lying to you. I can't say that all the time, but most of the time they are, because one, they're contacting you on the premise of spam, on something that they shouldn't be doing anyway, because you didn't ask for them to email you. And then 2, if they call you out of the clear blue, they're telemarketing you, they're interrupting you. Here's the thing, guys. I've talked with, well over 1,000 cleaners about this specific type of thing, okay? I've never really heard of anybody who said that they've been happy with responding to either an email or a phone call solicitation. So my biggest suggestion to you is don't ever respond to any of those type of things. They sound too good to be true. Well, guess what? They are. And the thing is, they're preying upon the cleaning companies and other small businesses that don't really know what to do on the internet. They know they should be doing something on the internet, but they don't know what to do. So this guy calls out of the clear blue, and well, why not? Well, the other thing too is the guy who has the time to call you to sell you SEO services, he's not very good at SEO. You know how I know? If he was any good, he'd be busy doing SEO for other people and getting referrals. Okay? He doesn't have time to call you. The guys that are any good are not calling you on the phone. They're not spamming you with crazy emails. Okay, mistake number 5. Your website does not show up well on mobile devices. This is becoming a bigger and bigger issue, especially really for carpet cleaning companies and for emergency services, water damage, and carpet cleaning in particular. But sometimes carpet cleaning is an emergency service. Okay, and sometimes people are searching for a cleaner on their mobile phone on the way home from work. Or let's say they walk in the door of their home's flooded, and they need to call either a carpet cleaner or a water restoration service. Are they going to go flip on their laptop and wade through the water to find their laptop or their desktop? No, they're not. They're going to get on their mobile phone and they're going to look for a cleaning company. So you need to make sure that your site shows up well on a mobile device. This is a site that I just randomly picked out, but we've got pictures that often, and this is kind of even on the mild end. I see it a lot worse than this sometimes on mobile sites, but this is a screen capture of my mobile phone. And these pictures don't show up. They show up regularly on the internet, but they don't show up when I'm on my mobile phone. It's usually because some type of the resolution's wrong, or sometimes it's flash that's not showing up on the actual phone. But it needs to be looked at, okay? And your website needs to be looked at. And ideally, you need to have a website that's specific for a mobile phone. Now, what if you did something like this? If you had a water restoration service. When somebody Googled water damage, your city name, and they came onto your website, if you happen to show up in the search engine somewhere, pay-per-click or places or organic, or preferably even all 3, and they clicked on your website and they saw this, just a very plain and simple something. Ideally you might want to put in a picture with something like this. but it says, I see you're on a mobile device. Let's go ahead. It's transfer you to your mobile website, and it's telling you, I see you're on a mobile device. Do you have an emergency? A flooded house, broken pipes, other cleaning emergency? Well, if so, we do offer 24-hour emergency service. Call us right now, 24 hours a day, and the phone number. And obviously, if they're on a phone too, they know that they can just click on that and call you right away. The call to action is short, it's sweet, and it called them out because of the fact that they're on a mobile phone. They're going, well, yeah, I am on a mobile phone. And yeah, this is an emergency. More often, well, I don't know about more often than not, but it's a little bit more likely that it's an emergency if they're calling you on a mobile phone. So there you go. And just, doing little things like this are the things that really target and perform targeted marketing on your prospects. So stay tuned. We're going to be giving you, that was mistakes number 1 through 5. In the next couple of days, I'm going to give you another video with the even bigger mistakes that I see, mistakes number 6 through 10. And I'm even going to be launching something coming up really soon that's really special that you guys are going to love right before Thanksgiving. And it's going to be a package that I'm offering that's kind of my best offer ever that I've ever given that all of you are going to love. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to give you the new video coming up here in the next few days. So we'll talk to you then.